back to my channel, The Flow Space. I am so excited to have you here today because I have something super fun planned for today. I have so many people that DM me on Instagram and message me and ask me about a home pole, what kind of pole they should buy, what I recommend. But what ends up happening is people buy a pole and then they have absolutely no idea what to do with it. So today's video is for people who are like, help, I bought a home pole and I have no idea what to do. I got you. So before we get into the follow along portion, because I'm going to give you today a full warm up, some follow along moves, simple motions that you can do to up your pole dancing. I'm going to give you your first spin moves to actually try on the pole, and I'm going to give you a full cool down today. But before we get into any of that, I want to talk to you really quickly about some safety stuff, tips and tricks for the actual pole before you even start dancing on it. First things first, honestly, if you've never taken an in-person class before, I really don't recommend getting a home pole for a couple of different reasons. One is the safety of it. Pole dancing is extremely dangerous. I know it doesn't seem like it because everybody on Instagram makes it seem like the easiest thing in the world. It's not. It's a very, very physical sport, and you're very susceptible to bruising, burns. It's crazy. This metal pole is crazy. But bruising, burns, muscle pulls, muscle strains, if you're not doing things correctly, you can really injure yourself, and it's really important that you take a minute to decide whether this is something that I should be doing on my own or should I get the help of a pole instructor. If you are starting the journey on your own and you're here, congratulations, because you already did something right. Don't ever get on a pole without watching something, without listening to something, even if you're not in an in-person class, because again, it's very dangerous, and a lot of us don't know what we're doing unless we're seeing it from somebody else. And there are a lot of resources besides mine, other YouTube channels, Instagram accounts, and all of that you can get a lot of good information from. But if we're being honest, nothing supplements an in-person, one-on-one coach. Maybe not one-on-one, but like an actual person guiding you through a class, or like a virtual person watching you through the movements. Even that though, if you've never had the experience, can be a little bit tricky because you don't have a spot. So it's just something to consider from a safety aspect, just making sure that we are being mindful of that. Also, poles are really expensive. I don't know if you've noticed, but they are not cheap. So if you don't know if you like it yet, I really don't recommend buying one. You also have to install it. It has to go somewhere in your home. So I wouldn't invest in something like this until you're sure like this is something you want to do. This is a journey you want to go on. That being said, here are some other tips and tricks for my first time home pole users. So to clean your pole, common misconception about this pole in particular, mine, this is a metal pole. So this is not silicone. There are different types of poles that you can get. So you have metals, you have silicones, which are much stickier, and you have matte. So this is just a painted metal pole. To clean your pole, rubbing alcohol is going to work best. I recommend getting a little spray bottle, putting some rubbing alcohol in it. Clean it before you use it every single time. You're probably going to want to clean it like during your session. Definitely clean it after as well. And this will help keep you from slipping on the pole, and also just help keep your pole in good condition. Something else that I wanted to talk about is how important it is to stretch before you start. And I know every single exercise, movement practice will tell you to stretch before you start. It's extremely important in such a physical sport and such a demanding sport because there's a lot of flexibility involved in pole. Excuse me. In pole dancing. The second thing I want to talk about is how important it is to warm up and cool down before and after your pole practice. I know every single exercise and movement practice sport in the world is going to tell you, please stretch before you do it, and it's so important for literally anything. Pole dancing is very, very demanding on the body. It requires a certain amount of flexibility and mobility pretty much right off the bat. And you're using your muscles in ways that you've never used them before. So you want to make sure that you're really warm and that your body is ready to take on such a difficult task. Some other really quick tips and tricks. If you have any jewelry, I recommend taking it off, especially rings and bracelets. You'll scratch your pole right up. Also, when you're just starting out, I highly recommend wearing more clothes. So a lot of times you'll see pole dancers wearing almost nothing, and that's because we need the grip to stick to the pole. So your skin, a lot of times, is literally what's gripping you on here. In the beginning, it's a really uncomfortable sensation, and honestly, you shouldn't be doing anything in the beginning that requires too much skin. So I really recommend starting off in pants, just so that you don't burn your skin or hurt yourself while you're still learning. All that being said, I think we're ready to get into it, so we will go ahead and start with our warm-up. The most important things that we're going to warm up during a pole practice is actually everything, but we use our shoulders so much. We want to make sure that you're getting a good shoulder stretch always. Your core is pretty much always engaged, so you want to make sure that you're warming the core up, getting it ready for that kind of motion. Your hips you're using so much in pole. For almost every single thing you're doing, you're using your core, you're using your hips. So you want to make sure that your hips are nice and warmed up, that they are ready to go. Your legs, your hamstrings, calves, thighs, everything pretty much you need to warm up for pole. So I don't even know why I did that. But I'm going to take you through my favorite warm-up for pole. So I think that any warm-up that you're doing should kind of match the sport or, athletic endeavor you're taking. So for pole dancing, I like to do a lot of different dancey kind of warm-ups, a lot of quick hitting things, very dynamic, so that we're really warming up the body and getting it prepared for what we're about to do. So we're going to go ahead and get started with the warm-up. We're going to start from the top, and we're going to start with our head. So literally just thinking about shaking the head no, looking from side to side here. Good, last two. Nice, coming back to center, we're gonna shake our head yes, so bringing the head all the way up and then all the way down. You can go ahead and speed it up. Nice, last two. Good, coming back to center, we're gonna think about bringing our ear to either shoulder. Good, going side to side. Last two. Good, and then we're just gonna do some half circles. So keeping it low for now. Good, and then from here we're gonna go all the way around. And reverse it. Last one. Good, head comes back to center. We're gonna work on the shoulders, just bringing them up and down. Last one, and good. We're gonna work on some arm circles, so still stretching out the shoulders here, but we're also going to add a little bit of movement in the legs. So we're gonna bring the arms up, around, and down, and as we come down with the arms, we're also gonna come down with the legs. So you're in kind of like a squat position. Arms come up, legs come up, and down. When you're warming up, you want to be as intentional with your movements as possible. So really think about the body opening up. Use that mind-body connection to imagine how your muscles are moving, how the body is moving. And again, allow yourself to become open and warm. We're going to do one more, and then we're going to reverse the arms. So legs are doing the same thing. Arms are just going in the opposite direction. Nice, last one. Good. Still continuing with the shoulders, we're just gonna roll them back one at a time. Last two. And reverse it, roll them forward. Good, last two. Nice. Arms come out to the side. We're just gonna do a side body stretch here. So leaning to either side, we're gonna think about the lower body staying where it is, and really just our rib cage moving side to side. Don't forget to breathe as we are stretching. Last two. Good, and then from here, last thing we're gonna do with the shoulders, arms come back up, we're just gonna shrug them, arms come up. Last 3, 2, 1, good, shake it out. We're gonna continue here with like the rib cage. We're just gonna think about popping the chest open, feel it all across the upper body, and then bring it in. Nice. Good. Trying to just move the upper body now. We're gonna come into some rotation. So coming into a circle. I'm thinking about engaging my core, keeping my hips stabilized, and moving with my ribs. You're probably not gonna get huge circles here since we're not moving the legs. We're just still warming up this part of our body right here. We're gonna do one more and then reverse. Good, one more. Nice. Getting into the hips now, we're gonna shake them out. Two more, hip, hip, nice. We're gonna open up the legs. We're gonna do like a little bit of a squat. We're gonna roll the hips now. So I'm thinking about sitting down in my seat, then I'm taking the hips and I'm going all the way around in one direction. At the same time, we're gonna take our wrists and circle them as well. I don't know if you hear that, but there's so many little cracks happening right now. That just means the body is warming up. And then we're just gonna reverse it, so opposite direction in both the hips and the wrists. Last one. Nice. Arms come out to our sides again. This time we're going to think about opening the legs out wide. I'm going to keep my chest popped, keep it strong. I'm going to come down, think flat back. And then I'm going to bring opposite hand to opposite foot. Come up halfway, switch. And we're just going to continue with that movement. Last two. Last one. Good. All right, from here, we're gonna bring the arms up, stretch everything out. We're gonna bring the hands down to heart center, and at the same time, we're gonna come down into a deep squat. So I like to rock it out a little bit. My hips are usually pretty tight. So I just like to rock, get a little bit of movement here before I find my stillness to hold. While I'm doing this, I'm thinking about my knees pushing into my arms and my arms pushing into my knees. So I'm creating an opposite force, and that way you get a little bit of a deeper stretch. From here, we're gonna come up. Think about coming all the way down, so almost like you're gonna do a fold, but we're gonna clasp the hands behind the back, extend the arms for another shoulder stretch here. You can find a little bit of movement if you want, or you can be still, up to you. Now from here, we're gonna come back into our squat for one more time. We're gonna open up the arms. We're gonna bring the right arm around and back. Switch, left arm comes around and back. Nice. Push it up. We're gonna heel toe the feet together and then just come into a fold. Nice. Roll up one vertebrae at a time. Good. We're just gonna do some more stretching on the legs here. So what you're gonna do is take your right leg and just step it behind you. We're gonna frame the foot with our hands. We're just going to straighten and bend. Straighten and bend. If you need to create more space, just slide that back foot back. Straighten and bend. Good. Now once we're in our bent position, we're gonna let our back knee come down on top of the toes. And we're just gonna push on that top leg in our hip stretch here, a low lunge. And then from here, we're going to extend that front leg coming into our runner stretch. From here, you're gonna think about sliding that front foot up, plant the foot. So now you're in like a really stretched out low lunge. We're gonna bring both hands to the inside, untuck the back toes, and then just rock it out. And then from here, we can drop the back knee. And if you wanna go into your splits, you're just gonna slide in. I'm not gonna go all the way in on my left side today because I did hurt my hip flexor recently, so I don't want to irritate it too much. So I'm just gonna hang out here for now. Good. From here, we're gonna slide the foot in. We're basically just gonna switch sides. So however you wanna get there, I'm just gonna stand up. I'm gonna put my right foot in front this time, slide the left foot back to be in my lunge, and then from here, straighten and bend. Straighten and bend. And we're gonna continue like that for a minute. Last two. Last one. Good. From here, bend the knee one more time. We're going to drop the back knee, untuck the toes, getting deep into that low lunge, pushing on the top leg. Again, just don't forget to breathe here. And then from here, we're going to straighten that front leg. And we're just gonna fold over the straight leg. Remember to keep the back straight here and think about your head reaching towards your toes. Good. So from here, you're just going to slide that foot forward so you're in your extended low lunge. Bring both hands to the inside, tuck the toes, lift up, and just rock it back and forth. Good. And then if you drop the knee from here, if you want to go into your splits, you're just going to slide out. Again, I'm dealing with some hip pain, so I am just going to skip that one for now. It's really important that you listen to your body when you're doing certain things. We never want to skip a stretch, but if there are certain stretches that are causing you pain, you don't want that to be happening because chances are you're just going to worsen it. So make sure you listen to your body and supplement where you can. Since we're not going to do anything too crazy today, that is going to be our warm-up for today. I do a little bit more of an extensive warm-up depending on what I'm teaching, but for now, I think that's good enough. We should be nice and warm and ready to do some beginner stuff on the pole. So just another quick note before we get started, almost all poles can be set to both static and spin. Static means the pole doesn't move, spin means the pole moves with you. I would strongly recommend starting on static and working your way up to spin. It's definitely a preference thing, but spin requires a little bit more strength. And it's a little bit more tricky, and if you're not used to the pole, you can also get dizzy pretty easily. So again, I recommend starting on static and then working your way up to spin and then choosing what you like. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and get started with our pole moves. I know, it's super exciting. These are moves that literally anybody can do on the pole. These are super simple. It's really meant to help you get familiar with the pole, get used to feeling it in the hand, how it feels on the body, and also just give you some motions to do if you don't have anything else to do yet with it. I always like to have my students start with some walks. So literally just walking around the pole, which I know sounds so silly, but it's a really good way to get into your energy, and you'll notice how quickly how either uncomfortable or comfortable you feel on the pole just by walking. So I strongly recommend starting with that first. So I like to start on my right side. I'm right dominant. We're going to do everything on both sides to balance it out today. So anytime you're going to walk on the pole, you're going to have your whichever hand is up, the same leg is going to walk. So think same hand, same leg. You're going to start with that inside foot. When I do my walks, I think about taking a little step, a little secret. In pole dancing or dance in general, always point your toes. So I like to think about my toes always being pointed. I'm really exaggerating my walk, so I'm bringing my leg up, I step, I bring my leg to my knee, step, and then I just kind of get into my energy here. It depends on what kind of music I'm playing, what kind of mood I'm in. Sometimes I want to do something a little bit more fun. Sometimes I want to do something a little bit more sexy. You can use your other hand to kind of feel the body, but we're just getting into our energy here, and we're going to keep walking around the pole. Nice. When you're ready, we're going to switch sides. So now I'm going to be in my left hand, which means my left foot is going to step first. Same thing, you're going to choose your energy. I want you to give me something though. I don't want to see this. This is not fun. You did not buy a pole just to walk around it like this. So I want you to really try, even if it's uncomfortable, to add a little bit of motion in the hips. Bring the legs up. Give me a little something. Whatever it is to you, just give me a little something. Nice. If you want to keep going with your walks, you definitely can, but I'm going to go ahead and move on. All right, the next thing we're going to do is get into some hip movements. Super exciting. So you're going to choose one arm to have up on the pole. Doesn't really matter which one because we're really going to be focused on our hips here. This is just a support. So you're going to think about bringing the hips up, come up onto the toes, bring them around, bend the knees, come all the way down. Think about getting in between the heels, coming up. So swing the butt around, all the way down, and up. Nice. I love moves like this because first of all, it's a great dance move to do on the pole, but also it's getting you prepared for the hip mobility and the flexibility that you need to do some of the upper level moves as well. So always a double purpose. We're gonna do one more, and then we're gonna reverse it. So you can switch arms if you want, doesn't really matter, but we're just gonna go in the opposite direction now. Really drop it low. Don't be afraid to get low. You bought a pole, you better not be afraid to get low. Two more. Good. All right, we're gonna go ahead and get into the next one. All right, next we're gonna get into some body waves, one of my favorite moves to do on the pole. So what you're gonna think about doing, the way that I like to teach this to my students, because it is a little bit awkward at first if you've never done it before, you're gonna think about squatting down to like a little squat, bend both of the knees. From here, I'm gonna grab the pole with one hand again, just for stability, doesn't matter which one. And then you're gonna think about bringing your nose to the pole. Push the chest, roll the body back, and sit it back in a chair. Same thing, nose, chest, roll it back, sit in your chair. Nose, chest, roll it back, sit in your chair. Good, going at your own pace now. Putting it all together. If this doesn't look fluid today, please don't be discouraged. A lot of people are like, what the heck am I doing right now? No big deal. We are just practicing the motion. You'll never get better if you don't practice where you are at first. While we're on the subject, I think that's why a lot of people don't stick with pole dancing, because they're expecting to see results right away. This is hard. It's a hard sport. It's hard movement. You're combining athletic performance and dance, creative expression. You have to be vulnerable, you have to be raw, you have to be strong. It's a lot. You have to be a lot of things at once. So don't expect perfection right away. And one more. Nice. Good job. Let's get into the next one. All right, let's get into what's called figure eight. So another move that's going to feel so freaking weird at first. Please just practice it and the motions will come naturally over time. If it doesn't look good today, don't worry about it. These things take time, trust me. So we're gonna be behind the pole, feet are about hips width distance apart. You're gonna think about popping the right hip. So I'm kind of like pop and I'm twisting it, and at the same time, I'm gonna bend that knee. So I'm bringing my hip up, twist the leg, bend the knee, and then you're gonna think about bringing it around and out. So you're literally, it's called a figure eight because you're thinking about making an 8. Maybe I should show it from the side. I don't know which is easier for you to see. So I'm popping my hip, think about rotating it, bend the knee, and then I'm gonna bring that knee in, around. Now from here, so I brought it in, around, I'm gonna let this hip pop, twist, bend the knee, around. So you're bending, open, around, bend, open, around. So again, it might just take a little while for it to feel natural, but eventually your hips will start swaying with it and it'll become a natural fluid motion. Two more. Last one. Nice. All right, we're gonna get into the last simple move I wanna show you, and then we'll actually get into some beginner spins to do, so that's super fun. The next thing we're gonna do is called a backslide on the pole. So you're gonna think about getting in a shoulder, it doesn't really matter which one, you can pick. And whichever shoulder you're in, so I'm gonna choose my right, so if you wanna just follow along with me, you're gonna put the pole in your right shoulder. So the pole right now, I'm leaning against, my butt's on the pole. I get my back on the pole, and if I lean my head back, I can get my right shoulder on as well. From here, same shoulder, same hand, so my right hand is gonna reach up and grab the pole. So that's really all we're doing. The bottom hand is gonna grab, just reach down, and then you can step out a little bit just to give yourself some space, because what we're gonna do is really think about looking back. So I started up here, I'm gonna tilt my head up and back, and all we're gonna do is let the pole slide. Well, I guess the pole's not sliding, we're sliding. We're gonna let ourselves slide down the pole. From here, just to give it a little sass, you can open. And if you're feeling up to it, if you have the back flexibility, you can pull with this top arm and roll yourself up. That is a lot on the lower back though, so if you're not ready to do that and it's a little hard, you're gonna do the same thing. So I'm here, let myself slide down the pole, open the legs for some sass, and then you can just come to the knees. Push into the hands and come up. So same thing, getting into that shoulder, back hand's above, bottom hand just grabs. We're gonna think about bending the knees, slide down the pole, open, whichever version you're gonna do. All right, now for some spins. I know you guys have been waiting, you're super excited, you wanna do an actual move on your pole. I know, I got you. We're gonna start with one of my favorite beginner spins. Actually, it is my favorite beginner spin. I do it all the time, so I love it so much. It's just a regular chair spin. So I'm gonna do it on both sides. I'm gonna show you on both sides, but I'm gonna be on my right side first. So I'm gonna have my right hand up on the pole. Anytime that you're reaching up on the pole, especially now that we're getting into spins, you wanna think about reaching up as high as you can, but then you wanna actively drop the shoulder. If I'm going into my spin with my shoulder up here, what's gonna happen is eventually when I am coming off the floor, all of my body weight is gonna come crashing down into that shoulder and it can cause an injury. So you wanna make sure that you're up as high as you can, but you actively roll that shoulder down. So it's engaged, but it's not up by your ear. So you're here. To do your spin, you're gonna think about taking 3 steps. 3, not 2, 3. 3 steps. You're gonna start with your inside foot first. So think same hand, same foot. You're gonna do right, because your right hand's up, left, right. Now you just did your 3 steps. From here, my left hand is going to think about reaching across my chest and grabbing the pole. So pretend I just did my 3rd step. I did right, left, right. So I'm in this position here. My right hand's up. My left hand's gonna reach across my chest, grab the pole. For this move in particular, I don't wanna think about pulling my body towards the pole. I wanna keep myself faced this way. Now my outside leg, which is my left, is ready to take another step. But instead of taking another step, what we're gonna think about doing is swinging the leg into the chest. My right leg's also gonna follow. So you're gonna think about both knees coming up and sitting your butt back like you're in a chair. So I'm here, I just did my 3rd step. I reached my left hand across. I'm gonna show you just the motion without spinning. So I do this, and then I just lift my legs without spinning too much. So my right hand's up. I'm gonna do my 3 steps. Right, left, left hand reaches across. Instead of taking another step with my left leg here, I'm gonna swing it for momentum for my spin, bring my knees into my chest, and then you can come straight down to the knees here. I'm gonna show it with me walking from back here so you can see me bring the arm around from the front. So I'm still in my right hand. I'm gonna do right, left arm reaches across. I'm gonna keep my chest where it is. My left foot's ready to take another step, but instead I'm gonna sweep my knees up towards my chest. And that's your chair spin. I'm gonna show you a quick variation if you're having a hard time or you're too scared right now to pick your feet up. It's a lot. So your body weight is being held by your 2 hands and that's it. The good news is for this move, you're really close to the floor. If it doesn't go well, you can just plop down. I do recommend having a mat if you are a beginner, especially if you haven't been to class yet, or at least wearing some knee pads. So a quick variation if you don't want to pick the feet up today or having a hard time. It's going to be easier, the variation, if you have socks on, if you're on a hard floor, but if not, no worries. So again, I'm going to show it from over here so you can kind of see it front facing. I'm going to do my 3 steps. I'm starting with my right foot. I have right, left, right. My left arm reaches across. Now instead of sweeping my knees up to the chest here, I can just draw a little circle and bend the knees. That way my feet are never lifting off the ground. I don't have to experience holding my full body weight, but I can get a little bit of a sense of what it would be like if I had to hold some of my weight with my arms, and you also get a sense of what it's like to spin around the pole. All right, we're gonna get into the same thing on the left side. So the steps are exactly the same. You're literally just switching which arm is up and which foot you start with. So my left arm is up now. Again, I don't want my shoulder up here. I'm gonna think about actively rolling it down. So you're engaging the shoulder, but it's in the right position. 3 steps, starting with the inside foot. Think same hand, same foot. We're gonna start with our left. So we're doing left, right, left. Once I take my 3rd step, this time it's my right arm that's gonna reach across. Same thing as before, just switching the hands. And then my outside leg, which will be my right, is going to sweep in towards the chest. Obviously, the left knee is going to follow as well. So we're up. We're gonna take our 3 steps, starting with the left foot. You have left, right, left. Reach across with that right arm, and then from here, the right leg is gonna swing up into the air to get into your chair spin. Sometimes when you're dancing, it's a little hard to think about talking. It's just a sidebar. But I'll show it again. So I'm going to be up, left hand is up. We're gonna take our left foot. You're gonna do your 3 walks. I have left, right, left. From here, my right arm is gonna reach across. My right leg is gonna sweep up. I'm gonna bring both knees up to the chest, coming down, however you wanna do it. Try a couple more on the left side to keep things balanced out, and then we'll go ahead and get into our next spin. All right, the next spin that we're gonna get into is called an outside hook spin, and what that means is our outside leg is going to hook the pole. For this hook, you're gonna think about pointing the foot. When you point the foot, you get a good, nice little arch here behind the heel. That's the part that's hooking on the pole in this move. So before we even get started with the spin, I want you to just practice pointing the foot, getting that little arch, and placing it on the pole just so you know what position to put your leg in. So to get into your spin, we're going to start on the right side. So my right hand's up. We're going to do our 3 walks again. So we're starting it exactly the same. Right hand's up. If my right hand's up, that means I'm starting with my right foot. So I'm going to take my 3 walks. I have right, left, right. Now from here, same thing as before. My left hand is going to come all the way around, grab the pole. This time though, I'm not super worried about staying this way. I can turn towards the pole if I need to. This outside leg, it's ready to take another step. Instead of taking another step on the ground though, we're going to swing it around. Remember, point that toe, get your little pocket, and it's going to hook on the pole right there. So your body's doing this. Now what's happening to the back leg at the same time is it's going to come up off the ground, and you're going to think about kicking your butt with the back leg. So I'm going to show it from here so that you can see. I'm going to do right, left, right. My left arm is going to reach, grab the pole, swing that outside leg, hook the foot on, and then I'm going to think about my nose coming down towards my toes. So I'm here, I think about coming down towards my toes, pick the back leg up. The hardest part is when you're going to be spinning towards that foot, because it's a little bit scary to pick the back leg up, and you need the momentum to actually spin around the pole. So when you do it a little bit quicker with your momentum, the whole point of the walks is to build momentum so that you can actually spin around the pole. So I do my right, left, right. I reach for the pole, I hook the foot, and then in one fluid motion, I can come down. So I'm thinking about my outside leg swinging, hook it on the pole, and then I'm turning towards that leg, pick up the back leg. Really important that you think about this bottom hand as a support. It should be pushing your body away from the pole a little bit, because what happens if you don't have a nice little push in the bottom arm is when I go into my spin, I'm just gonna come in towards the pole, and then you're gonna lose control a little bit. So you wanna think about that bottom arm. You're not locking it ever, but it is pushing your body away from the pole. So my left hand is up. I'm gonna think about taking my 3 steps. If my left hand's up, I'm starting with my left foot. That's right. So I do left, right, left. Same thing as before, we're just switching sides. So this time it's my right arm that's going to reach across. My right foot is going to swing around. If I point my toe, I get that pocket, I hook it right there. Now I let myself come down towards that foot, so I'm gonna think about spinning in the direction of my leg. Back leg picks up off the ground. And there's your outside hook spin on the left side. So I'm going to show it from back here, so hopefully you can see the full thing once I get around. I'm going to do my 3 steps, starting with my left foot, left, right, left. My right arm's going to reach across, right leg swings, hook it on the pole, back leg comes up. Nice. Just try a couple more on the left side, and then we're going to go ahead and do one more spin before our cool down. All right, last spin we're gonna do is called a knee spin, and what that means is both knees are gonna be on the pole. Eventually you're gonna end up looking like this as you're spinning. So nothing super crazy here. We're gonna start in the exact same way that we did before. So right hand is up, roll the shoulder down and back, and we're gonna start with our walks with our right foot. So we have 3 walks, right, left, right. Now from here, same thing as before, left hand is gonna swing around. This time you're going to think about using that bottom arm to pull you towards the pole, and then you're just going to think about lifting that foot, so like get on your tippy toe, and then just squeeze the knees and let yourself come down. This one gets easier to make more graceful over time, so if it's like choppy right now, don't worry about it, because it's a little bit difficult thinking about getting the knees on right away, because it requires like a big lift. But if it just looks a little bit separated or choppy, no worries. I'm going to show what it would look like all together if you were doing it in a little bit of more fluid motion. So you have right hand up. I'm going to start with my right foot. I have right, left hand comes on, knees come on. So it happens pretty quickly, but when I have my left hand coming around here, I'm turning towards the pole and I just squeeze. So we'll try one more together on the right, then you can try it as many times as you need before we switch to the left. So my right hand's up. I'll show it from over here so you can see when I hook. My right hand's up. I'm going to start my 3 walks. I have right, left, right. My left hand reaches, pivot on that foot, squeeze the knees on the pole, and just let yourself come down. Nice. So we're going to go ahead and get ready for the left side unless you want to continue on the right. All right, last one we're going to do, our knee spin on the left side. So same exact thing, left hand's up, roll that shoulder down and back. 3 walks, we're going to be starting with our left foot. So we have left, right, left. From here, our right hand is going to reach across. We're going to use this arm to pull ourselves towards the pole, pivot, squeeze the knees on, and just come down. So again, I'm going to show it from over here. I have my left hand on the pole. I'm going to go left, right, left. Use this bottom arm to come around. Pull yourself towards the pole, pivot, just squeeze the knees on. Nice. I'm going to show it once more. I'm going to do it all together, one fluid motion. So I'm going to do it pretty quickly. Left, right, left, come around, squeeze the knees. And there you have it. So I hope you enjoyed all of our little pole moves, our simple moves, and our beginner spins. We are going to get into a cool down now because it's just as important to cool down as it is to warm up. All right, we are going to go ahead and get into our cool down stretch. So we are going to start with our feet just wider than hips distance apart, and we're going to go ahead and come into a wide squat. So you're gonna find a little bit of movement here, just getting comfortable in the hips, and then we are gonna try to find some stillness. Don't forget to breathe here. And then from here, we're gonna bring our right shoulder in, feeling that stretch on the shoulder. Beautiful, and switching sides, left shoulder is in. Good. We're gonna come up, straighten the legs. We're gonna come down into a forward fold, and we're just gonna shake it out here. Nice. Now try to find a little bit of stillness. We're gonna interlock the fingers behind the back, extend the arms. So here's a little tip. Whenever you're warming up, you wanna do a lot of dynamic movement, thinking about moving the muscles, really waking them up. When you're cooling down, this is your time to really hold the poses in their full form, staying still, holding. Your body is warm, so this is where we can really begin to increase flexibility. Coming down into a wide squat. That's my dog, by the way. Good. Pushing down into the ground one more time. We're going to come into our fold, interlock the fingers behind the back, extend the arms. And last time, squat. So same thing as the beginning, I want you to think about pushing your knees into your elbows and your elbows into your knees to really get into that deep opening sensation. Good. From here, we're just gonna literally sit it down. Legs are open wide. Doesn't matter what it looks like right now. You're gonna think about bringing the hands all the way up and behind you for a nice heart opener stretch. Pop the chest, look up towards the ceiling. Deep breath in and out. Good. From here, we're gonna think about lifting the right hand all the way up and then all the way over to the left. You wanna think about keeping your chest up here. Good. Coming up, we're just gonna fold towards the left leg. Switching sides. Our left hand's gonna come all the way up, really get the extension first, and then we're gonna come all the way over to the right side. Beautiful. We're gonna come up, and then we're gonna fold towards the right leg. Good. Coming back to center, we're just gonna walk the hands forward for your pancake stretch. We're not gonna come all the way down unless you want to. You are gonna think about keeping a flat back and keeping the shoulders back. Good. Coming up. And slide the legs together, shake them out. Good. We're gonna stay on the ground here. So I'm gonna have my left foot in front and I'm going to slide my right foot back. So I'm in a low lunge position. I'm just gonna hold this here. From here, we're gonna tuck the back toes, really plant the right hand, lift the back knee off the ground, and then our left hand's gonna come up for a twist. Beautiful. That left arm is going to swing around, bring it down, and then we're going to extend that front leg. Flex the foot. Beautiful. Coming up, we're going to switch sides. So now my right leg is in front. I'm going to slide the left leg all the way back. I'm just going to hang out in my little lunge for a second. Now from here, we're going to tuck the back toes, lift the back knee off the ground, really plant the left hand down, and then right arm can come all the way up. Beautiful. Bring it back and around and down. Wonderful. We're going to bring it back again. And we're just going to actually sit it down for a second. We're going to roll the shoulders back. And then roll them forward one at a time. Right arm is going to reach across the chest, catch it with the left. And switch. Left arm reaches across. Take our head and bring it over to the right side. Beautiful. Bring it all the way over to the left side. And then from here, we're going to push it down. Good. The last thing we're going to do is roll out the wrists. And then we're just going to reverse it. Beautiful. You are all set. I hope this helped. If you have a home pole and you have no idea what to do with it, I hope that this was a little bit insightful. I will definitely be adding so much more beginner stuff and more in the future, so I hope to see you soon. Have a wonderful day.